So I've owned this iPhone 15 Pro Max for almost 8 months now, and I think I have a good perspective on it. Unlike when you read on apple.com that, let's say, the battery life can go up to 23 hours, with real life experience you can tell way more about the battery life, stuff as brightness outdoors and all of that. So I thought to give you guys my own perspective about this iPhone, about if it's any good, and most importantly, if you should buy it right now. So the iPhone 15 Pro Max came basically with three things. The USB-C, which was a big thing. If you've watched my previous video, you would have learned that Europe has some regulations and they quite forced Apple to just transition to a USB-C port just to make things easier and to prevent waste. It came also in this titanium body, and it has an action button, unlike the previous models who did have a silent switch. So the action button can be customized and you can put a lot of actions into it. To be honest though, I found myself to have it on silent and ring mode, but if you go to settings and you hit action buttons, you get to see this beautiful UI that shows you that you can turn it into camera. So if I program it to be a camera, I can do so. Even better, I can let it go directly to a selfie, to video mode. So let's say I'll turn it into video mode and I click that action button, it goes directly to video mode, which is quite cool if you are a photographer and you find yourself taking a lot of pictures on the go on spontaneous moments. Then yeah, it is something handy. But then again, if you go back to the lock screen, you find this button right here that turns on that camera, or you can just swipe to the right and you'll have the exact same thing as with programming the action button to have it set on camera. But the action button can be done for multiple things: for flashlight, recognizing music, a magnifier. I'm not sure who does that, but if you're a construction worker, maybe you will have to need that a lot. Shortcuts, maybe this is something that you might be playing with if you have an action button, because choosing a certain shortcut is kind of handy. Because let's say you want to open a certain app, you dial that in that shortcut, what do you call it, in the shortcut app, and you just have to click on that action button and your phone will turn that app on as you have programmed it in the shortcut settings. Let's say you want to ask ChatGPT something and you want to start a new chat or ask ChatGPT. You can have it on that, or maybe start a voice conversation. So I'll have it on that. And if I click and hold, it turns ChatGPT directly on. So now I'm kind of speaking with Chat. Hey Chat, how are you doing?
Hey there. I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. How about you?
Okay, so that's quite a handy thing. The action button is not something I'm programming a lot, but I bet there are some people who have some apps they use regularly and they might be using that action button to do just that. I've read somewhere that the iPhone 16 Pro will have a dedicated button for the camera, which then again begs the question, is Apple just running out of ideas? Because it seems like they don't know what to add to the iPhone anymore to make it special. It's kind of hard to design something quite new, but at the same time appealing to the mass public. So I think that's why Apple just played on the safe zone and just keeps creating that same thing, but improve it slightly just to transition to something new over a couple of years, and not that sudden, just not to like give people something they're not comfortable with. So yeah, that's all about the action button. I don't find myself using it a lot. Something that came out and that made big headlines when the 15 Pro lineup just came out is the fact that it's quite fragile. It's quite fragile on the back. We all saw the video from Jack Rig Everything. He had quite an easy time to break this thing with his bare hands, and that video went just viral. To be honest with you guys, no one will just go ahead and break his phone like this. That's one. And two, I've been using this phone for the entire time, for 8 months now, like 90% of the time, and it filled quite a lot on the ground, and it didn't broke once. And I'm being honest with you, it has fallen on the ground. I'm talking about hard concrete ground, and it felt like I thought at that moment that my phone just broke, and not a single scratch on the screen. I'm not saying that you should just go and throw your phone away, like being mindless with your phone. Definitely be like cautious with this expensive thing. But if I can just show you on the back, not a single scratch. I do have some scratches here, Not sure if it's visible on cam, but let me. It's kind of hard to let the camera like zoom in. It's kind of hard to let the camera focus on that exact spot, but if it's not visible, there's a single scratch right here on the corner and right here on this corner as well. And this with me not using a case on my phone 90% of the times for about 8 months. Should you just go ahead and not use a case for your phone? Definitely not, especially if you are someone who goes to the gym a lot. I find myself going to the gym and I have to be extra careful because you putting your phone on the ground on benches and the likelihood of having it fall on the ground is very high. So yeah, if you are like biking or riding a motorcycle, definitely put a good phone case around your phone and even a screen protector. Even though I haven't used a screen protector once for the entire 8 months, and I don't have a single scratch on it, as you see right there. So yeah, if you read on Apple's website that it has a ceramic shield screen, and that's the hardest screen that you'll find on every phone, that's quite true. Like I said, this phone, it fell on the ground, it fell between places a lot of time and not a single scratch on that screen. Now, there is a benefit of having a screen protector on your screen, and that's some screen protectors prevent those smudges on your phone. They have this matte finish and you will not have to deal with these hideous smudges that you will find over time. And you'll be like cleaning your phone a lot of times, but those smudges will not go away. In a matter of seconds, they will come back. As a matter of fact, I'll just demonstrate that for you. So here am I just cleaning that screen entirely. And let's find out how it looks like afterwards. So right now it's quite clean, not a single smudge, but if you just go ahead and like type on it, and over time you will find yourself having those fingerprints on your screen, which is quite annoying. Maybe Apple should come with a matte finish screen like they did with the newest iPad Pro. Maybe, let's hope so. But then again, you will not get that retina quality of a display, because let's be honest, if you have a textured screen, you will lose on that quality on your display. So yeah, that's all about the screen. What about the camera? The camera is kind of top notch. It's been compared with those high-end mirrorless cameras like the ZV-1, I guess, the Sony ZV-1, and it performed quite good. I've been shooting videos on this exact YouTube channel with this iPhone, and the color quality like baked in on iPhone comes top notch. Let me tell you this, an iPhone and a lot of smartphones for that matter has these computational photography, which means that there is an algorithmic process that is working on the background with every photo you take. It's not the same like with a mirrorless or a DSLR camera that needs a lens and light that's coming in the camera to capture that picture. On iPhone, it's done with an algorithmic process, and that's quite different. But yeah, at the end of the day, if you're just shooting photos because you like shooting photos, you'll have like great pictures out of it. On the back, we see like 3 lenses as we are used to. It's now been done for a couple of years since the iPhone 11 Pro. And those cameras, a wide camera, a telephoto camera, and a main camera. And the main camera of the iPhone 15 Pro Max has a whopping 48 megapixel resolution, which is quite a lot, meaning if you're shooting a picture, you can zoom quite a bit without losing much of a quality. Also on photo mode, it can like zoom up to 25 times, and on video mode, it can zoom up to 15 times. On 5 times, it's set on the 120 millimeter lens. And if you're zooming in like 15 times, that's quite a lot. This is how it looks like on the field. I can zoom in up all the way that building, and I might be losing quality, that's for sure. But yeah, the fact that you can zoom in all the way through, that's quite an accomplishment. I mean, yeah, I know Samsung had that like 2 or 3 years ago, but iPhone is actually catching up. And to be honest, I don't find myself using that zoom capability a lot. If you are sitting on a plane and you want to take a picture of the city that you're flying over, yeah, for sure, you will need that zoom capability. But other than that, maybe if you are on, like, if you're watching a game like a basketball game or a football game, then yeah, that zoom capability can come in very handy, but not much than that. And yeah, that's all about that camera. There's also this USB-C port, and a USB-C port is not only that doesn't only allow you to charge your phone with a USB-C cable. It also allows you to connect an external hard drive to it, which is quite a thing. If you're shooting RAW, if you're if you're shooting log on your camera, it can take up a lot of space. Log pictures are like log video and pictures are by nature very big. So you can just store it on the internal hard drive of the phone. But with this USB-C capability, but with this USB-C port, you can just connect an external SSD hard drive and store all of those photos and videos directly on that hard drive. Speaking about the capacity of this phone right out of the bat, I mean the base model of the iPhone 15 Pro Max is already equipped with 256 gigabyte of memory. It can go up to 1 terabyte, but then you'll be looking at least $15.99 for a single phone. And I'm not sure. And yeah, for sure, if you're taking a lot of videos, a lot of pictures, that 1 terabyte can be very handy. But yeah, if you're like me and you're like after a while storing it on an actual SSD external hard drive and you're wiping all your pictures from your phone just to make space, 256 will be more than plenty. It will allow you to store a lot of things on your phone. Let's compare it with the previous models. I mean, the iPhone 14 Pro Max has a base model of 128 gigabyte, and it went up to 1 terabyte. So there's not much of a difference in that. But this one will come. But the iPhone 15 Pro Max has a 256 gigabyte base model storage, so that's quite impressive. So yeah, you can go for the iPhone 15 Pro with 128 gigabyte. That will cost you $9.99. The 256 gigabyte iPhone 15 Pro model is $10.99, but if you go $100 extra, you can have the 15 Pro Max with the same capacity, with the same hard drive capacity, but with the max capabilities, which means longer battery life. And speaking about battery life, it says on Apple's website up to 29 hours of video playback. I'm not sure about that. I mean, the battery life of the iPhone 15 Pro Max is like astonishing, but it will not hold up 29 hours of video playback. That's not possible. I can guarantee you that. If you've charged your phone up to 100%, which is something I don't recommend you to do, just make sure to charge it up to like 90%, just to extend the battery lifetime of your battery. But if you are charging your phone up to 100%, you will have like about 30% at the end of the day with like using this phone constantly. I'm talking about using the navigation on your iPhone, texting with it, taking pictures with it, taking videos with it, calling with it, using your bank app, all of those things, and keep that battery life at about 20 to 30% at the end of the day. So that's quite impressive, but you'll have to charge it at night to have like 100% the next day. But 29 hours, no, that's not something it will hold up in real life. So yeah, that's basically it. I do like this iPhone a lot. I'm using it all the time. It's quite embarrassed. If I go up to my screen time, I'll find myself using this iPhone for about 5 hours a day, which is something I need to dial down. But for the most part, this iPhone is quite great. Do I recommend you to buy it right now as of August 2024? No, definitely not. If you're planning on buying an new iPhone right now, just wait, because in September the iPhone 16 models will be introduced, and that means this price will drop not significantly, but it will drop a bit, and you can go for the iPhone 15 Pro or the normal iPhone 15 models, or just go for maybe the iPhone 16 Pro is improved significantly and you want to just have the newest one, just to have a new iPhone for the coming 5 years without worrying about buying a new one. So yeah, if you want to buy an iPhone right now, don't do it, because yeah, it's not a smart move to buy a new iPhone on in August 2024. So yeah, that was the video. If you have any questions, like always, leave them in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching till the end, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.